Folks, welcome to Inside Arm Wrestling, the home for all news on arm wrestling, fitness, strength, sports, and competition. Day 2, Inside Arm Wrestling, in studio, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Don Underwood. He's now pointing, folks. This is getting a little bit ridiculous here. I'm going to tell you something. There's got to be some sort of infringement upon my copyright of Clap, Snap, Poke. But anyway, we're here in studio, and Anthony, I said that so that way when you edit these, you don't release the first one after this one, right? So that's the key. And when we do one more, and we're giving the tips away to all those people out there that we're actually shooting 3 episodes at one time, make sure you don't put the third one in front of this one, all right? Anthony's giving me the yes, yes, yes. You know what? Hollywood Don Underwood, pleasure to have you here again. I think we had a really good conversation in our last episode on East versus West, but I think that I would be remiss as the owner of World Series of Arm Wrestling to not get from you directly how we are as a company. Obviously, you're the director of sales and marketing, and you are engaging into a bigger role with World Series of Arm Wrestling, but you've been firsthand out on the field.
Yeah.
And I think I want to start with the Baja Mexicali event with Greg Brown, and give us your thoughts. I mean, what was that like?
You see this? The smile on my face. One of the most incredible events I've ever been to in my life. Anytime you do an international event, it's always fun and exciting to meet your fans, to get to sign some autographs, take some pictures. But this was just another level. Not only was the turnout exceptional for the World Series qualifier, but the people were genuinely excited to meet me and be part of this event. One of the most exciting experiences, best experiences I've had in arm wrestling in 35 years that I've been in it. Greg Brown, great job. Can't wait till next year, and I look forward to seeing you again.
What do you think was the biggest takeaway from that? Was it the venue? Was it the athletes? Was it the food? Was it all of it? What was it?
Every single part of it, from touchdown, riding with Tim, the camaraderie there, meeting Greg, the excitement to be a part of the World Series, for him to be a partner with us now. It was just, it was nice to see. You don't always get the appreciation and the understanding of what we're trying to do in this sport. And folks, what we're trying to do is expand it. We don't want to put anybody on the outs. We want everyone to get along. We want this sport to flourish and come into everybody's household, and that's our general goal. So he is one of the people, Greg Brown is who I'm talking about, that if we had 1,000 of him, it wouldn't be enough. He's an absolute icon as far as international arm wrestling, and man, I can't wait, like I said, to do it again next year.
Nice. That's a lofty praise.
Unbelievable experience.
And I'll tell you, Greg has been a huge friend and proponent of WSA since we started. And although I've been able to meet him several times, I haven't been able to get down to his tournament, which next year we'll make sure that happens.
You won't be disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
And I think that the key component with having relationships like this, Don, and I think this is a sentiment that you probably will echo, is that having solid people that are dramaless, right, and are giving, selfless.
Nobody in arm wrestling causes drama, Greg. Let's be realistic.
Dramaless and selfless in the world of arm wrestling. Those are people that we want to align with and grow with, right? I mean, there's huge marketability and upswing with them. Yeah. From starting into integrating them onto the networks to be able to help them with sponsorships in the future. Right. I think that working with individuals that exhume a professional behavior and class are really the backbone qualities that we want. Yeah. Right? It makes it fun as an owner, right? I mean, it makes it easy to get up in the morning and get excited about getting World Series started every day because we have those Greg Browns of the world. Right. And saying that, we moved to Utah, and then you got to experience the quality. What I'll say is just this is on par with a Greg Brown with Justin Green and Trinity, and tell me how that went.
Well, I've been in the sport 35 years, and you'd think that I would know each and every arm wrestler, and unfortunately I don't. In 2015, after the show dropped, it hit me pretty hard. I took a break, took a step back, And I didn't realize the impact of Game of Arms. And it brought a slew of new arm wrestlers and talent. And I haven't got to meet everybody, especially out west, because I'm in the Midwest and I go out east a lot with the contracts that I used to have. So coming out, meeting Justin's been pulling for 20 years. I never met the guy in person. We've been in the same room. We haven't chatted. He's told me stories of watching my show with a group of people and some of the incidences they got excited about. Guys, this was just, it was amazing to be a part of. Justin Green is fantastic. The Tactical Arms group out there is just a solid group of people. They have genuine care and love for the sport. And they're just good people. They don't tolerate nonsense. They don't want bad people in their presence. And they'll make it very clear. If they don't like you and they don't want you around, they're going to let you know. And they were happy and open arms with me and have asked me back. And I'm excited. Can't wait to get back.
Again, I think you talk about people that really identify what we look for in the world of arm wrestling for World Series of Arm Wrestling, right? I mean, quality people, no nonsense, no drama, respectful, have no tolerance for idiots, right? You've just summed up, if we had a perfect model for, what a franchise or license would look like for our company, if there was such a thing that would bring value, right? I mean, you have to bring value on a franchise end to actually have that term put out there.
Very difficult to franchise arm wrestling. Yeah. And if someone says they're franchising, I promise you, look at the dollar and cents when it comes to it, because like I say, arm wrestling, and we all do it. We can do it anytime we want to. To be a part of a group, that's great, guys. But I think we should all come together and just be one and make this thing great.
And having said that, you have two individuals that on a company end you can grow from, right? These are individuals that on a company value, that when you're tasked with challenging to branch out and be able to bring the best of World Series to a location, I don't know that you can find two better examples than these two guys.
Well, I wouldn't have said those names because I didn't know them, but I know them now, and the experience that they gave me. I've never been to Utah. I was picked up in a lifted truck, which was super cool, by the way. Not only that, I looked at the mountains. It's like, wow, you guys live in God's country. This is awesome. He goes, you like the mountains? I go, absolutely. He goes, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take you up in them. I'm like a kid in a candy store. This guy takes me up through these canyons and lakes and waterfalls, and he don't have to do this. This guy took the day off work to show me some things and to show me that he cared about me coming. And Justin, Trina, you guys are phenomenal folks. Thank you for making my stay exciting. And yes, just like Greg Brown, I want to come back, and there's a reason for that, and that's the host.
Nice. So having said that, Chicago, neither of us could get to, but we heard that Pablo,
Wow. Yeah,
he's coming, right?
Yeah, that's something to worry about.
He's a big kid.
It's a lot to concern with. 239 potentially. I know another guy.
You think he'll go to 239? Or you think he'll pull super heavyweights?
Well, I mean, it depends on the weight. I mean, I don't know where. Like you said, we couldn't make Chicago. Pablo usually sits around 250, sometimes a little heavier, but he's typically around the 242. From what I've seen, what he did in Chicago, super heavyweights is a potential win for him. So, myself included, I've got a decision to make. As everybody knows, I've lost a bunch of weight. I'm not far from the 239s or the supers. So I don't necessarily want to look across the table and see Pablo. That's a scary gentleman and a very talented one.
And then we had Farid Usmanov, a world champion.
Yep.
He pulled that day and reached out afterwards to let me know he's coming to the finals and assured me that he will be ready, which, part of the qualifiers are really, folks, to get you to a qualifier. There can be some gamesmanship and sportsmanship. The athlete there is looking to qualify to get to the finals. Do you see a Farid coming in as a different puller on November 1st, ready to go? What's a prediction like that? Is he a top 3 guy?
Yeah, he will. I can't say for sure on that. I've seen him almost everywhere I've landed. When my boots are on the ground, around the corner he comes, and we've become friends throughout this last year. Very humble, very nice guy, always at the top of the list, always pulling at a very top high rank. Yeah, he's going to be a force to reckon with. Look at his history. It's just like me trying to make this road to come back. You're going to find your place, and Fareed just might be the guy to look out for.
Well, let's jump ahead here. We're about 28 days away from Riverside, which is really one of our only 2 corporately run regionals. Everybody else is a host, and for Riverside in North Carolina, we are the hosts.
Yeah.
Riverside, our backyard, in terms of World Series of Arm Wrestling, has always been our best regional in terms of showing, and also the largest amount of pullers who come to the finals. Yeah. And one name, again, always kind of resonates at that regional, and I think he's won the overall the last 2 years for sure. I think the first year he didn't actually qualify because he was unable to make Riverside, and that's Vrez Zadrakian. Wow. For everybody who doesn't know Vrez, we actually have a rule we call the Vrez rule. And the Vrez rule is that you can only pull in one weight class in World Series of Arm Wrestling. And many of us have seen Vrez come in at as light as 65 in the past and pull all the way to super heavyweights and not lose a match on right and left. And has beaten guys like Ron Bath, has beaten Robbie Topi, has beaten Jordan Sill, has beaten guys, that are really, really established top-end pullers at a weight that he's typically under, right? I mean, the man walks around, I would say, 190, which might be 85 kilos. Is that about the right translation? Yeah, somewhere. That's about his walking weight. So when he cuts to 176. And to cut to 165 and be that small, but be that big, that's impressive.
Yeah, he's an impressive gentleman. He's got what we call seasoned arms. And if you guys know in arm wrestling, the more they draw, the harder it is to pin once you get under the table. And you put a little strength and tendons with that, you got Vrez Zadrakian. You got to put him as a favorite all the way across the board. He trains with one of the top teams that I've seen. I've pulled some of these guys from David Egan to Arson to Oleg. These guys are truly phenoms on U.S. soil. Watch out for them. They're going to be the ones to watch for.
They are. They're a huge team. And a big shout out to Scott Mendelson because he always shows me a lot of love when I come up and allows me to use his gym. And he brings me in as if I'm family, which is always great. So if you're in the Ventura area, Van Nuys area, Mendy's gym is always the place to go. But they have a practice up there every Thursday night, and it's no short of talent. Yeah. I mean, if you really want to think about where the world champions pull, or the greatest number of world champions right now in the sport, and on any given night during the week, you'd be hard-pressed to find more than L.A. and that Armenian team.
And I agree with you. And, 20 years ago, I'd say you're way wrong. Kansas City has the most, and we did. We had a pool of greats. But it ain't 20 years ago. It's right now. And I agree with you 100%. That team up at Mindy's gym stands alone in the world of arm wrestling today.
100%. So, moving on, and not that we're ever moving away from World Series of Arm Wrestling, but I want to talk to you about a new promotion that's been out there and guys that I actually really like. I've had a chance to talk to JJ and to Ian. They own Major Arm Wrestling Championship. They call it the MAC. They're doing some really good things. And I think it's their differential. A lot of people say shtick, and I don't think shtick is really the right word. I think their differential is that Ian and JJ have manufactured this arm wrestling table that's a unique value, right? It's somewhat padless, although you have a pad square that it sits flush with your table, and then you have extended sides of the table, which are what I would call the classic pin pads. So there's no pads on the table technically. Yeah. However, with the raised or proud sides in a recessed base to arm wrestle in, that's their drawing point, right? Have you ever been on that table?
No, I think they've seen UFC and Karate Combat, and they got an idea, and they kind of put it together in arm wrestling. I think everybody that's been in the sport a long time has an idea of an arm wrestling table or a change to tables that might make some difference. Ian has seen it and implemented it. Don't know, I haven't put my elbow on it. I'd love to someday. But at this point, I don't have enough information. Greg, I think you've actually put your elbow down on it and know a little bit more about it. But exciting to see something new, and if it works, well, it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, you know, and again, yeah, when you're in business, Don, and I've said this and professed this to a lot of people, you have to look at your box and you have to be able to become unique within it, right? If you're like everybody else, then you're just everybody else, right? I think the uniqueness with this table brings a different dimension to the sport. I don't know if it's safer or not, right? I mean, again, I think they may have some justifications to say it's safer. Because with a countersunk pad or elbow area, you're not ever putting your elbow in a point where if you slip off, you may extend in an awkward way, right? So keeping the elbow on the table flat and not worrying about coming off or forward or backwards or side to side, maybe there's a safety value to that. The second end of this is that I think it takes out the parallel pin controversy, because the way that the table is shaped, that if it's a parallel pin, your arm is going to touch the table. It doesn't matter where you are on that table, that parallel pin is very easy to call. And I kind of like that. I'm sure that there was some value when they put that together as to why they did that. And I like the style. Like, I like the way it's shaped. And again, it brings a little bit of visual acuity. Outside of what we normally use in this sport. So kudos to you guys. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about your card. That's Saturday, June 14th. It's the MAC Championship. It's in Pecan, Ontario. And although we don't know a lot of these arm wrestlers, Don, let's see if we can kind of look and see if we see some familiarity. I mean, listen, you got a card that has the Slim Reaper on it against Mr. Hall. I mean, that's a pretty cool name, Slim Reaper.
It is. Either that or he's got a problem and needs to get some rehab. I'm not sure which one it is, but nonetheless, I hope it's a great match.
Let's see if we can kind of flip through some of these. I've got to tell you, I like that Slim Reaper. Now, they got a lot of matches on this card, which is, you know what, in the world of arm wrestling, I kind of like that. And I'll tell you why, because when I owned the Explode Fight Series, I was all about bringing a lot of opportunity to fighters. You know, we've had cards that have had over 20 matches on it, on a pro and then on an amateur end as well. I think that athletes like that. They want opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right? Not really knowing a lot of these names. We got two female pullers here. I mean, you've got this Gina Stuckless against Courtney Hike. I mean, you can't tell a book by its cover.
Right.
Obviously, Courtney's got several medals on her person, so I'm going to assume that she's got some sort of quality of wins out there. Gina looks like she's just a badass.
Yeah, she does. She looks like she's ready to go.
So that could be an interesting match. You've got Madney Gagne versus Shayna Flanders-Brodieu.
Again, both of them set up, showing the arms, look like Billy Logston, showing the hands of steel in Kansas City. Maybe some Logston fans right here. Top Rollers is my guess.
Maybe. Frank Poulet, William Gray. Have you heard? Do you know these names?
You know, I don't keep up with the north of the border arm wrestling. There's some serious talent. As you know, that's Devin Lorette. That's Matt Mass territory. There's some serious talent from up there. So I gotta expect that there's some serious power going to be on this pay-per-view or, this card. I look forward to it. I always watch it, guys, and I become fans a little at a time. Ian, always a fan of yours. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely. And you know what, guys, the easiest way to follow MAC is to be able to go to their page, MAC, Major Arm Wrestling Championships, MAC. I'm trying to give them a shout out here. I don't see if there's a pay-per-view link on this. Not quite sure how to be able to promote you guys. And I'm just reading here real quick. I just don't see it. So if you have an opportunity, guys, out there, drop a link for us so we can follow up in a week or so when we do one more shout out to you. That way people know where they could see the match, if they could support you on a pay-per-view, what that looks like. Oh, that's pretty interesting. They've got an El Jefe, which is a very Spanish way of saying the boss. in Canada.
Yeah.
Is that? Do you think that they will have a El Guapo up there as well?
Well, there's been an open border for several years now, so I think Canadian are accepting all as well.
Don't let Tom.
El Jefe made it north.
Don't let Tom Homan hear that. He may be up there, and you have AOC at the right behind him, trying to shout him down.
How exciting! That's a match that I'm looking forward to seeing. By the way,
I think I saw something that Ian is actually going to pull here, so I'm kind of looking at the board, but
the Grippler is back and in the house. Are you kidding me? Ian Carnegie, I'll tell you what, listen, guys, Ian has been a fan of mine. I've been a fan of his. We've pulled several times, and he's always a joy and fun to watch.
And you know what? It's interesting because there is a tie-in here, Don, right? I mean, if you think about it, you were a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Ian's family, I believe, is Paul Vachon.
Okay.
Obviously, the Vachons were
big name in wrestling.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So out of the North Corridor, Vern Gagne was wrestling up there. So is this an extension of is what Mac trying to do? Try to bring in a value, perhaps, of developing personalities when you see El Jefe and the Slim Reaper?
Yeah, I think so. Gimmick is one thing. When I came in out of pro wrestling, back into arm wrestling, I made a lot of noise. I always wanted arm wrestling to be exciting. I wanted people to see us as characters, but it was a legitimate. It wasn't predetermined, as you know, of the entertainment side of wrestling. This violence that we incur is hardcore and definitely real. So I hope so. All we can do is, get excited for what Ian's doing. His background is there, and if he's doing that, then good for you. And I'm a fan, and I'll be watching.
Nice. So having looked around the horn, we talked about East versus West in an episode ago. We've kind of looked around, over the next month, but I would be remiss to, Anthony, how much time we got?
21 minutes.
So we got about 8 or 9 minutes. We've got something coming up in our backyard here in the U.S., which is always a very big tournament, fan favorite. Tim Talmadge, Arm Sports. I believe it's next weekend. So remember, Anthony, this video has to be out before June 7th or 6th to 7th, right? You're going to be there, yes?
I'll be commentating. I don't know if I'm pulling. I don't know. Tim always, tells me what to do when he gets there. He always treats us like royalty. And like I said, I'm excited to be a part of it. Once again. But yes, going to be there. It's always a great event, always a bunch of talent. A lot of World Series guys are always in the house. So we'll get a chance to interview them, talk to them a little bit about the excitement and what they're expecting and what their expectations are for the finale this year in November.
Well, that's good. And listen, we've had Tim and Kayla with us now for every year, every season. There is just as an integral part of World Series of Arm Wrestling as anyone else. Yeah. They've been a supporter of us not only on social media, but also as, cohabitating partners, if you will. Kayla on the brackets and Tim as a referee. So, it's easy to see the quality of events that two people who are immersed in the sport with the right seasoning around them can throw. I've been to this Washington State. That always over exceeds. I was at the Arizona State last year. The round robin of 12 was a great,
unbelievable. Yeah.
It came down to Arson and the Shark, right?
Shark, yeah. The Shark took it, and they've had a rematch since then, and Arson beat him. So it's super exciting to see what's coming up November 1st at the finals. We're going to see both of these guys, and a lot of it's going to happen June 7th again at Arizona State with Tim Talmadge and Arm Sport Entertainment.
Yeah. So good luck to you guys out there in Arizona. Everybody who's going out there to compete. I believe they have a pretty good slew of super matches for that as well. I think there's a pay-per-view card, and I'm not quite sure where that lands. And certainly if we can get a follow-up short, we'll let you know. But go to the flyers. I think the flyers can kind of direct you to that.
It's on my page. I'm not sure if you have a link to it. Tim Talmadge has it on his, but check out Donnie Underwood on Facebook, Hollywood Don Underwood on Instagram. Of course, Arm Sport Entertainment and Tim Talmadge will have all that information. But definitely be worth seeing, and I more than likely will jump in the mix just to get a good practice in and potentially another state championship. I've been on a pretty good run. I'm hoping for the best for the finale for myself.
So that could be an Arizona State, could be a Kansas State. Any state pen championships out there coming in your future?
We got Missouri State later in the year as well.
He didn't catch on to that.
I don't listen. I've got a
Snap, clap, point. There. Oh, snap, clap, point. He's a guy who tries to take my gimmick, and I've got to give it back to him. No, but getting back to serious, I know you've been pulling quite a bit of the rounds, if you will. Do you use that for practice? Is that the value for you?
I do. Anytime I can't get into the qualifying tournaments, we want to have the best guys at our regionals and our top two. Obviously, they're going to earn the hotel rooms, and we want the best guys to do that. So with me getting in there, I know that we would probably honor the third place guy if I did pull that, but I don't want to take anything away from him. I stepped out of the Utah event, which there was some money on. It's hard to see money walk away. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and we, again, want the best arm wrestlers to be here at San Diego Harley-Davidson November 1st, representing their place, their region, and, give them an opportunity to win an epic event that we're putting on. And, guys, if you don't know about it, Greg's going to tell you a little bit more about that, I'm sure, throughout Inside Arm Wrestling and maybe possibly on this episode. But San Diego Harley-Davidson, if you haven't been there and you haven't been to the World Series Finals, Greg, unbelievable event.
Well, number one, if you're going to buy a motorcycle, there's no better place than to buy it from somebody who
top 5 in the world right now.
Madman Dan, and he can ship anywhere. Yeah, right. You know, at the end of the day, you could buy from him, via online Zoom, be able to check the bike, see the bike at your local shops, and support his branch there. Now, again, if your local Harley dealership has somebody that that owns it, you would want to support them. But Madman Dan does a great job. I mean,
Well, we was out there yesterday, and he was talking about, if you check out the San Diego Harley-Davidson website right now, I think for $88, you can get a Sportster or win a Sportster. There's some stuff going on that a lot of these dealerships aren't doing. Yep. And like he said, he can ship anywhere. I think shipping is on the house, so wouldn't be worth checking out. Give it a shot.
Yeah, Madman Man ahead of his day, especially what he does in promotion and value. And
talks very fast.
Very fast.
Gotta listen.
Yeah.
Sign that thing, you don't know what you bought.
Madman Dan was in the house.
He was the original slasher, right? I mean, they made that movie about him. He was in the used cars. Yeah, used car dealerships, and how he used to get people to come in and slash the prices, and he's an icon in that sales industry. So if nothing else, you're going to get a good feeling when you leave and a good bike, and his staff down there is amazing.
Very nice people.
Yeah. So wrapping up the second episode here, Anthony, where's my cheat sheet? Yeah, see, he wasn't ready. Did you see that, Don?
I see that.
Yeah, so this does conclude another episode of Inside Arm Wrestling Hollywood. Don Underwood, clap, snap, point. I got the last one in. This has been Greg Sharp, reminding you to train hard, pull smart, live safe. And Don Underwood, again, another successful episode. Before he puts that right hand up and puts me to shame, we got a thumb wrestling match? See, you know what? You bow down to the king when he brings the hand out. Anyway, folks, have a great week.